Let's be honest. There's something deeply unsettling about not being valued. Maybe it's a friend who only calls when they need something, a partner who stopped noticing your efforts, a job that drains you but never rewards you. It stings. And while it's tempting to chase after validation, Stoicism whispers something different. Don't seek revenge. Rise quietly, powerfully. Let your life speak for itself. That's the real win, not in proving them wrong, but in becoming someone they can't ignore. We're not talking about spite here. This isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries, self-respect, growth. When someone fails to value you, you don't collapse, you don't beg, you rebuild. And in that quiet rebuilding, you start to shine in ways they never expected. It starts with you owning your worth fully, deeply, without apology. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need to post about it. You don't even need them to know you're working on yourself. The goal isn't their regret, it's your peace. Ironically, that's what makes them regret the most. When you stop trying, stop explaining, and start evolving. They feel it when your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. When you laugh more, glow more, live more, without them. So let's talk about the real power moves. Not petty tactics or mind games, but the mindful, stoic ways to make them wish they'd treated you differently. Not by hurting them, but by healing you. You ready? Let's begin. The first shift, you stop overgiving. You don't chase. You don't over-explain. You don't bend yourself backward just to fit into places that shrink you. That's the thing people often miss. When you constantly over-deliver for those who underappreciate you, you train them to undervalue you. Stoicism teaches us to give with intention, not from a place of insecurity or fear. So instead of running after someone's approval, you redirect that energy. You pour it back into yourself. You take your time, your effort, your love, and you invest it in people and places that see it for the gift it is. The irony? That's when they start to notice. When you stop showing up the same way, when your silence says more than your words ever did. Next, you become deeply consistent. Not with them, but with yourself. You build the kind of habits that make you feel grounded and whole. Morning routines that anchor you, passions that light you up, goals that stretch you. This isn't about proving you're better without them. It's about proving to yourself that your life doesn't depend on anyone else valuing you. You become someone who walks into a room and doesn't need to demand respect. Your presence commands it. And yes, it takes time. But that's the point. You're no longer rushing to convince anyone of your worth. You're embodying it. Quietly, every single day, they start to feel the shift, the detachment, the power, not because you shouted it, but because you lived it. You stop being the person who waits to be chosen and become the one who chooses themselves. One of the most powerful moves, you master the art of detachment. Not coldness, not bitterness, just calm space. See, Stoicism teaches us that the only thing truly in our control is our own mind. Not their opinions, not their choices, not whether they ever see your value. So you stop gripping so tightly. You stop waiting for that apology, that text, that "I messed up," because you don't need it anymore. You realize peace is better than closure. growth is louder than revenge. You become okay with walking away, not to punish, but to protect. Your time, your energy, your emotional bandwidth, those are sacred. And when someone consistently shows they don't value them, you let them go, gracefully, quietly, no drama, no need to make a scene. Because here's the twist. They notice when you don't react, when you don't try to convince them. When your world keeps turning and they're no longer the center of it, that's when the regret creeps in. Not because you tried to make them feel bad, but because you stopped giving them access to the version of you they took for granted. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You start attracting different energy, healthier connections, people who see your light and don't try to dim it, people who meet your standards instead of asking you to lower them. You realize the right people never make you beg to be valued, so you keep moving forward, not with anger, but with clarity, that calm, unshakable clarity that comes when you finally choose yourself, without guilt. Here's another shift that speaks louder than words. You start thriving in silence. You don't announce every win. You don't flaunt your glow-up. You just live well and let the results speak for themselves. That's the Stoic way. No need for validation, no craving for applause, just quiet, steady progress. Because when someone didn't value you, they expected you to stay stuck, to stay small, to stay wounded. But every day you show up for yourself at the gym, in your work, in your healing, you're breaking that expectation. And it's not about pretending you're unfazed. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel. But you don't stay there. You don't make pain your home. You use it as fuel not for revenge, but for rebuilding. And in that process, you become magnetic. There's something undeniable about someone who no longer seeks attention, but gets it anyway. Because their life radiates alignment, peace, strength, direction. You start doing things they never saw you do, learning new skills, meeting new people, saying yes to opportunities without asking for their permission or their praise. And that's when it hits them. You never needed them to become this version of you. You just needed space. That realization, that's what lingers. That's what stings. You didn't yell. You didn't beg. You just left their orbit and started to soar in yours. And every time they check in, they see it. The life they could have been part of. The version of you they never took the time to understand. All because you chose to grow, not grieve, to rise, not react. In the end, the sweetest kind of regret you'll ever inspire doesn't come from revenge. It comes from evolution. You didn't fight to be seen. You didn't beg to be loved right. You just stopped waiting and started becoming. That's the Stoic path. Not loud, not flashy, just grounded, quiet strength. You let go of who didn't value you, and you stepped fully into who you were meant to be. Not to prove anything to them, but to finally honor everything in you that they overlooked. Because here's the truth. You were never too much. You were just too much for people who weren't ready. And that's not your burden to carry anymore. Your job now? Keep going. Keep building. Keep protecting your peace. Keep choosing people and environments that match your energy instead of draining it. Let the version of you that they couldn't handle become the version the world admires. And if they regret it, let them. But don't look back. You've got better places to be. You are not defined by who didn't see your worth. You're defined by how you rise after they didn't. So rise, silently, powerfully, unapologetically.